And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, or depending on where you are. Welcome to this session of Inspiring Conversations. As usual, welcome to my stream. I'm live from Kópavogur, which is a small town, small, like in Iceland. And I will, I want to remind you all of I wanted to ask you to connect with us on YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you want to engage, and just so we can build something big in these days and age. So, why inspiring conversation? It's all about creating conversations that really matter. We are diving into ways to connect deeply, break down barriers, and build moments that inspire trust and growth, whether it's with your team, at work, or in your everyday chats. We will bring more positivity, realness, and impact into every conversation. And as usual, I am in Kópavogur, Iceland, and this is a picture taken of my side of town, and I live near the ocean, and we are close to the capital. So that is a good thing. So my guest today is a Canadian, and his name is Glenn Bostock. He's the founder and CEO of SnapCab, but he has also written a book called A Human Business, the people first model. What was that? The people first model for lasting success. And I hope that my new friend from Canada is coming because he's not here. So hopefully he is maybe a little bit delayed. Hopefully he will figure out to connect to the Restream platform. So otherwise, this time zone difference is just, you could, ugh, I hate that. Well, no, hate is a strong word. So, but the topic today was useful, not just successful. And he has a very interesting story, Mr. Bostock or Glenn. So, if you have anything to say, if you want to talk to me right now, if you have something to say, if you have a question, you can comment on LinkedIn and Facebook and participate in the conversation. So now I have said that. So now let's figure out if Mr. Bostock will show up. As I mentioned, he's in Canada. As I have a man here. He is in the from the Canadian Mountaineers, and I can see that he is contacting me, and then we just have to figure this out. Uh, 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 uh. I hope he will figure this out. Uh, 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 I have to answer his email, and he will probably come in a heartbeat. So we are here, and oh, 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 oh. Well, Mr. Rab Bassi, my good friend from the UK. While we wait, what have you been up to lately? Well, I am in the process of selling my house, uh, and I am in the process of offering companies a leadership style workshop, 4-part workshop, where we talk about the first one is in general, what skills do you have in your rucksack? The second one is about emotional intelligence, but not like we talk about it. It's just like what, how do you respond with feelings or not? And then we have how do you handle conflicts, and then the last one is about how you reply to people. So thank you for that, Mr. Bassi. But lo and behold, the man of the hour.
Sorry,
And he
I
is
was at
just
the
like,
phone store.
yes, of course. And like people of your age, you are trying to kill me.
I'm sorry, technology. I was at the
Well,
phone
yes.
store. They had my phone, and they said it's not backing up. So they had all my attention at the phone store.
But you
Sorry.
sit in still. You this is a SnapCab, are you not? Are you sitting
That's
in
right,
your
Glenn.
production?
Yes,
So you are in your company now and in a booth.
I am. That's right.
So that construction behind you is a SnapCab.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
my. So but welcome.
Sorry, I was running late.
Well, you're forgiven because you are here and now, and we don't
Okay.
think about the past. Well, or
Right.
what?
All right. Going forward, it's going to be great.
Yes. So, Mr. Bostock, I don't know why I said Mr. Bostock, like because I feel like we are
Very
on Glenn
formal.
and Head instead. Yeah, yeah. But you can see that like in honor of your Canadian heritage.
Oh, nice. Excellent. We all dress like that all the
Well,
time.
yeah, yes, I can see that you are in the red, like
Well,
you
yeah, I
have the
took my
red
coat
table.
off. Yeah, I took my red coat off before the podcast.
But welcome, and you. We are going to talk about, amongst other things, your new book and your career as a entrepreneur, and the topic is useful, not just successful.
Yep, yep.
And so I have been looking forward to talking to you because when we met, you invited me to a morning meeting with your staff members, and
Oh,
I was
right.
just
Yeah,
blown away. And
that's right.
it was such fun to be on a hybrid meeting
Yeah.
and doing exercises and stuff.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that later. Just to start with, uh, welcome to my stream, and it's
Mhm.
live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Uh, but who is Glenn Bostock, and why is he useful, not just successful?
Okay. So the book is about my journey going from being a sort of a conventional leader, and I had a gift of knowing how to disengage my employees through my leadership, my intuitive leadership skills. And the story in that book is going from being a leader that disengages people to being a leader that engages people. And I found that you need to have a plan around building structure, systems into your organization that support engaging people. And that's what the book is about.
But so your story is that when like reading about you, they say like it says, "I grew up." I quote, "I grew up with learning disabilities and difficulties at school."
Hmm.
And you continue with, "It made me realize the kind of community I want to be a part of, one that fosters a foundation of caring first and foremost." So you had your business at SnapCab, or where did you start, and like how long
All
was the
right.
period where you realized that you were, if I may say so, a crappy leader where
Yeah,
you
sure,
disengaged people,
sure. Yeah.
and you start like, when did you see the
All
light?
right. So I went through school, and I failed my way through school. Like they just like sort of just like, come on, kid, just go on to the next grade. We don't need you here in this grade anymore. But it's not through my merits that I made my way out of school. I think it's just that they wanted to see me go away up to the next grade. Uh, I uh, but I so when I got out of school, when I got out of elementary school and high school, I had a really good career in learning how to deal with struggling and failure. I learned a lot about failure as I failed my way through school. I went to college for woodworking, which I excelled at. That's something that I loved, and once you know it, I excelled at it. Got all A's. And when I was 23, so I guess I got out of college when I was 20. I met this wonderful Canadian gal, Cheryl, and we got married at 22. And I started a company when I was 23. I had been working for a couple different cabinet makers who paid me very little money. And I thought, you know what? I bet I could make very little money working for myself. Why don't I go into business and make very little money and be my own boss, as opposed to making very little money working for somebody else?
That's a great philosophy.
Yeah, thank you. And so I did learn the business of cabinet making from working from other cabinet makers. Started my little business, started like repairing and refinishing furniture. And then for the next 14 years, I was focused on doing sort of high end, fancy woodworking. And Um, and I wanted to, as the business expanded, I was treating my workers like, you're here to help me do my thing, my helpers. You're like little me's, do what I say. And actually, my wife, I wanted her to treat me the way I wanted to be treated. And we had been through multiple marriage counselors. And one day, when I was, let's see, I was in my mid 30s, I met I'm struggling with these people. And there's two big things that happened. One was we had gotten into elevator remodeling, which is really just an extension of cabinet making, woodworking. And I had come up with a system that I applied for a patent for that Otis elevator saw. And they came and gave me a national agreement for that patent. And I don't know, I don't spend a lot of details on why that happened, but it did happen. It was crazy because I only had I had swelled to about 5 or 6 employees at the time. And I was struggling with all of them. And I was hiring the most skilled people I could find. And I got this opportunity. I thought, well, I have all this experience at failing from school. Why don't we try this? It'll probably fail. And what's the worst that's going to happen? Otis will be mad at me. So we got into that. And I was frustrated with my workers. I was just basically asking them to work harder and faster with no systems or processes.
And for
And
as little and for a small pay.
well, hey, you got to take care of me, right? You don't make
Yeah,
money as an owner by paying your employees well. What you want to
yeah,
do is you want to pay them as little as possible while you charge as much as possible to the customers, and then you keep the rest. Come on, you
yeah.
know how we do business, right? That's what we do. So
You could have slammed your
and
wife.
then
Like
you yell
you,
at
you, you
them.
could just you could have said that your wife was needy, so she could have like the mansion and
Oh
everything.
no, oh no, she's much better at handling money. She handles all of our money.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, she but it was really what made me look at myself was my trouble with my marriage. But it turns out the trouble I was having in my marriage applied to my workers, as it applied to all my relationships.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I found this mentor who his career was a parole officer. His job was to work with people whose egos were so big it landed them in prison. And then they thought that the world revolved around them. You wind up in prison, and then he was helping them get out of prison and back into society. And he was pointing out to them that really you're a part of society. Society's not here all for you. and it's not everybody else's fault. You're playing a role in your life as well. Well, this guy turned out to be very helpful to me as a CEO because I think I had similar thinking as many of these people that wound up in prison. It's like the world's there to please me. So I spend quite a bit of time with this guy, and uh, he does have a book on Amazon called Observing Spirit, and his thing is like you should look at your own spirit and really pay attention to it. His name is Peter Rhodes, and so after I got the idea from Peter, I got a couple of ideas from Peter. One of them is that people are led by what they love. And I know for sure I'm led by what I love, but I didn't really think about other people because I was so busy loving myself that I wasn't paying attention to what other people love. And he said, the other thing is you can't punish people into compliance, you know. So you want they're led by what they love. You want to lead them by what they love. Lead them by what they love. And it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. And around the same time, I went to a quality school that Otis Elevator sent me to. It was put on by United Technologies. It was called Edo University. So I was there with people from Pratt and Whitney aircraft engines and Sikorsky helicopter, and anyway, these big companies, Carrier air conditioner. So I was there with engineers, and they're trying to figure out how to keep people safely in the air without crashing. And all I'm doing is like decorating elevator interiors. So, but Mr. Ito had pointed out that the gold is in the problems. If you can identify a problem, then you can mistake proof it, and then you're just going to do better. It's just like finding money on the street. So if you combine the idea of people are led by what they love and the gold is in the problem, and I'm punishing people for problems, but the problems are where the gold is, that's stupid. So I re-looked at how I was doing my business.
So, but because people can comment, and Rab Bassi, a very good friend of mine from UK, he is laughing. I don't know why, because he says, "So you built a cabinet for people to sit in." And he might explain it later, but I can't. Rab,
The cabinet like an elevator interior is a cabinet that you might sit or stand in, but it's an inside-out cabinet, right?
yeah. But he's an IT guy, so let's not think about him.
Okay.
But okay, so you are sitting with these people who are solving problems.
That's right.
And you meet then Peter Rhodes. Did you see that?
Peter Rhodes.
Yeah.
RHODES, I believe.
Yeah. Well,
I'm dyslexic and a bad speller.
But yeah. Well, yes, and I'm not English, so like let's keep it that way.
And there's no dots or dashes or
no.
It's just like straight letters.
But when you realize that everything evolves around your own ASS, and you are just like,
oh,
did you go home and look at your wife and say, I'm an idiot? Or like when you realize that you were just like, what am I doing?
You know what it was? I realized that there's actually two people in me. One is this ASS, this ego-driven maniac, and then there's this other person that can be. There's this other person that can observe the ASS ego maniac. And so I kind of learned to like sit back in an easy chair and try to disassociate myself and try to look at my life as if I was watching a movie. And I'm looking at this character in the movie that I'm playing going, well, that character, I can tell this isn't going to go well for that character. And I don't like people like that in my life. So why would I behave like that? And that's where that book, Observing Spirit, comes from. It's like being able to separate yourself out. When I was able to before I did that, I believed all my thinking. And after I did that, I started to question all my thinking. And I started to think, well, maybe my thinking is not the best thinking. And I started to ask the question, what would be the most useful thing here? If I stopped asking the question, what do I want? And am I getting what I want? And I started asking the question, what would be the most useful thing for everybody here? Then then my life like flourished. Like I went from having 6 people. I've got about 150 employees now. I've got 2 manufacturing plants in the U.S. and Canada. I've written this book, A Human Business, and I can tell you when you're focused on being useful to other people, your reputation and money show up as tools and support for trying to be useful. If you start off by looking to leading like I was with putting money in what was I getting and wanting my reputation to be really big, and then I was trying to do as little usefulness as possible to try and get that to happen, that's not a recipe for success. So I think I was a stereotypical, uh, that's I think that's pretty common. People
Yeah.
wanting to thinking about what they're going to get and the reputation that they want.
Yeah. So
So,
Rap Bassi, I just want to say, like Rap Bassi, he says, I thought you built the booths for meeting. Sorry for being so wrong.
oh, no, no, no. He's correct. We have 2 product lines. We
Yeah.
made elevator interiors, and I'm not looking at the comments. I'm not dyslexic, so I don't want to look at the comments. So I
No, I
appreciate
will. I
you.
will read. I will read the
Good,
comments so you
good. I
can like.
need I need readers. Everybody in my company knows when we get looking at PowerPoints, they read because they know I'm a slow reader.
Yeah.
We our core business was elevator interiors, and then we were approached by WeWork, and they wanted us to turn our elevator interiors. He said, "Hey, if you put a door on this and panel the outside, you'd have a pod. Could you make office pods?" And they needed a bunch of them, so we got into the office pod business. So yes, we make office pods in Canada and elevator interiors in Pennsylvania, in the U.S.
Yeah.
So those are our 2 product lines. So if you go to
So
snapcab.com,
yeah.
you can see what those things look like.
Yeah. Snapcap.com. I have the. Well, I posted glennbostock.com instead. I will
Yeah,
let
well,
that
well,
go
that's the
through.
better one because that's about the human business, and that's what we're
Yeah.
here for.
That
And
is about you and nothing only,
well,
but like
yeah, I
that is.
know. Okay, that's
Yeah.
another good story. Is I try to not make it about me, and then I got involved with Forbes Books, who's publishing it, and they said, "Well, Glenn, people don't trust companies because they think you're going to try to sell them something," and I'm not trying to sell them pods and elevator interiors. So don't go there. Don't buy that stuff. I've got other marketing people that worry about that. And then they said, and people don't trust, and they don't want to buy a book, but they are interested in authors. So we should make it all about you. And I've had I've got a background, I've got a spiritual tradition background, and they said, my my folks I grew up with, my parents brought me to church, and I was talking to this church group, telling them what I was doing, and I know darn well if you make it all about you, that's like a recipe for hell. And I said, well, okay, I guess I'm going to go to hell now because I'm making it all about me because Forbes said I should make it all about me. And they said, but I think it'll be useful because I'm trying to get this message of human business out there. And my folks, my church folks said, "Oh, well, thanks for taking one for the team, Glenn, and being willing to go to hell so you can get this message out about the book."
So the box has checked. Like we have found the person to go to hell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
vanity. Oh, the
I'm going to
vanity of
hell for
writing
you.
a book. Oh, yes. Oh
So,
la la. But the transition, like when you finally came to the realization, like how how was it? Because the people you had prior, like before and after, did the people follow you, like those who started with you, who you treated badly?
oh yeah,
Did,
some of them I have.
and, and,
Yes.
and did they say to you when you came to work one day and said, well, I have been doing this all wrong? Did they say like, time out, who are you and what did you do with Glenn?
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a really good question. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a story, and some of the people, the fellow that's in the story did move on to start his own company. Uh, but I do have people from back then that are still working for me. That's like about 30 years ago. I've got,
Uh-huh.
so I've got lots of long-term employees. But Bob, the story with Bob was that I was involved with Bob right around when I was making this transition, and I'll just have to say the transition's about changing a mindset from all about me to like looking out for other people. And he had built a job that went to Mexico that was messed up, and the job was rejected, and that's freaking expensive. It hurts my reputation with my customer.
Uh,
Super inconvenient. Then we had to pay for the mechanics to take the elevator interior out and replace it with the new interior that we sent them, big waiting. And I thought, I know what I'm going to do. This is going to be really helpful. I'm going to yell at Bob, because that way Bob's going to be incentivized not to do that again. Because, of course, that's what people need, is more yelling at them. And so I
of
yelled at
course.
Bob, and so then he quits. And then I have to talk him into quitting again. I'm like, well, that wasn't effective. And right around the same time was when I was seeing Peter learning from the prison parole guy about how human beings work, and we're all a bunch of ASSs, and you are too, by the way. I'm like, oh, and he made me realize that he made me realize that everybody is selfish, and that's like the neutral normal position. Don't get wound up about worrying about selfish, because that's like, if you're breathing, that's the way you are. That's the way people are. People are just that
Yeah.
way, and you're like that because everybody's like that. And so once I could accept my human condition, I could be open to other alternatives. And that's so I learned that, and I already told this story about Richio Shingo and rewarding for mistakes. So I had learned this, and then several months later, Bob's messed up another job. He put the wrong material on the surface of a elevator. It was supposed to be a matte finished stainless steel, and he put a like a polished stainless steel. So this elevator went to Hawaii, and the customer rejected it. And I said, "Well, I'll give you some money back if you accept, polished stainless is good too, isn't it?" No, they wanted it fixed. So really, all we had to do is put tiles of matte finished stainless steel like adhered to the ceiling. It wasn't a difficult fix, but it did require that somebody had to go to Hawaii to do that. So I send Bob with his wife to Hawaii. He spent one day fixing the ceiling, and the rest of the week on an all expense paid trip to Hawaii with his wife. So if you want to hear I'm yelling at Bob versus going on a trip to Hawaii with your wife, you know which would you go for?
Uh,
So 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 it turned out it was more inspiring for Bob to be appreciated that he said, you know what? The problem was I didn't look behind the peel coat. We should set up a system for checking all the material coming into the factory, making sure we're using the right material. Is it the right size? Does it have any defects before we build it into the product? And I thought that's brilliant. And he made a mistake proof system that we're using today. And he's probably saved me hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of not making jobs with bad material, the wrong material.
and your
So,
reputation. And
and
your
guess
reputation.
it's my rep.
And
Yes,
yes.
that's right. And it's useful.
Yes.
But now I'm leading with being useful, and it's building my reputation, and I am making more money. Not
Yes.
that that was the goal, but the result is that's what happens when you're being useful to other people. Is they tend to want to pay you because they can see you're trying to do a good job for them.
Yeah. But the transition of letting go must still be a hard process. Like, because when you are stuck maybe in a old system, as we tend to be, when people
Right.
come and they are talking to us, and you hire a new one, and then they are talking, why don't we do it like this? Well, I have been here for 40 years and we have
Oh,
always done
right.
it like
Yeah.
this. So how
Yeah.
extremely was it extremely tough, or did you just like, or like it must have been like, you must have been like chewing your cheeks or whatever sometimes.
Oh, okay. There's more to this story.
Yeah.
Um, and you're right. I don't know that I specifically chewed my cheeks, but
No.
but I do. I'll let you in on a little secret. I have
Oh,
opinions about what we do here at
yeah.
SnapCab. I really do. I really have opinions. And if I wanted to do everything myself and not get any help from anybody else, I should just always use my opinions.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I've gotten a lot better at, and when I have like gone like this with people, it's because I had a goal in my head and I asked them to do X, you do X, Y, Z. They don't do what I asked. They end up using their own mind, which ticks me off because I'm not getting the result I wanted.
Uh,
And then after like going like this with them, I realized, oh, I never shared with them what the goal was. What was the vision of what are we trying to achieve? And magically, when I let go of how to get it done, but you let them know what the goal is, and could you check in with me with we call them bad plans. I want to see a little napkin sketch to see, make sure that you're heading in the right direction before you put a lot of effort into this thing. So we have a process of doing projects like that. Um, the other thing that we do just for everything at work is we reward people for mistakes. And we have these boards. We have about 14 boards where we collect post-it notes of what's going wrong in that area of the company. And every day, the leadership team goes around and gives attention to every part of the company where they can tell them what went wrong. And then we give people about an hour a day where they can fix their processes. In the factory, we do a 10-hour workday, 4 days a week, so they get 3-day weekends, and they get an hour a day to improve their processes. And we use what's going wrong to improve them. And whoever brings up the most things that are going wrong, we give them a ticket, like a carnival ticket that says admit one. Each ticket has a number on it, so we know how many we give out every month. And we usually give about 3 to 500 tickets out per month of things that are going wrong. And then whoever put up the most things that went wrong get a spin on a prize wheel, and they might get to win an extra day's vacation or $100 or something. So we're rewarding for the mistakes. We don't reward for the solutions, but we give them time and material, and they get to enjoy having the pleasure of created this solution. We call them countermeasures because we feel like we never get to a solution makes it feel like you got it done, but we always feel like there's another improvement you can do. And the reason, okay, so you might, if you're going to ask me a good question right now, the good question you'd ask me right now would be like, gosh, why do people tell you what's going wrong even if you do reward them? That's a good question. I'll tell you.
a brilliant question.
Yeah, it is a brilliant question. So this is this. So in the book, man, you know what? It's sharp people like you that I love being interviewed by. Um, if you've got the book, you'll notice that there's 5 principles. The first principle is create a foundation of caring. So you joined a morning meeting. That's a part of caring is communicating. We hear something about individuals, and our values here are be kind, be authentic, and be useful. So you want to be kind, to create a caring environment where people don't have to live with fear. So if I say, oh, I came in late I was on a live podcast and I got so sidetracked with my phone over at the phone dealer that I missed the beginning of the podcast. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to be afraid of because they're probably not going to they're going to be kind to me, and you were. And
Yeah, well, yeah.
and what else can you do? That's where we are. So and then if you're authentic with like went wrong, and I'm in my head, I'm already going like, I got to get with my team and I need them to go and grab me by the hand and pull me into the sound booth here. And like, because, well, Glenn, obviously you're not competent enough to handle your schedule. You need supporters. So that would be a countermeasure. So I'm going to go over to this turnback with them. So that's what we do. So you have to start with caring, so people will go up what's going wrong, and then just go over the rest of the book. We find out what people love to do. Well, I love sharing this message about a better way to do work. called The Human Business. I know you love people being happiness. By the way, I've got another friend that's writing a book on the seven rules of happiness. I'll
Oh,
bring that to you when he gets it done. It's
yes,
pretty
thank
cool.
you.
But he uses the same principles I use in a human business. And the one of the principles is that you need to do take what you love to do. That's number 2. Number 3 is take what you love to do and use it to be helpful to somebody else. Principle 4 is embrace problems and weakness. Like you got to like the problems and weakness, just like in your human body, when you catch a cold, that's for your benefit because it improves your immune system. When you go to the gym and you tear muscle, that builds more muscle. You go to the gym to cause a problem for your muscles so you can grow muscles. In your
Yeah.
business and your life, you should embrace the problems because they're there for your benefit. And the last principle in the book is model your business after the human form. So every other business model I've seen really kind of stinks. But your body operates pretty well. You know, you get up in the morning and you function pretty well. You got operations down here, you've got
Yeah.
leadership here, somewhat leadership. My leadership's not that strong, but fortunately, I don't have to tell my stomach how to digest food. I would get that wrong. In fact, I barely know what food to put in my mouth to be fueling my body. But
But because Rapasi, he says, Hedin never had it so easy. Glenn comes with questions and then a laughing emoji.
oh, right.
Like, so this is like, please do continue. No, but he has a question, and
Okay, let's have it.
how do you help leaders realize there is a better way? In the example about leaders being receptive to feedback, how do you convince them to undertake this type of chance? And I also think about, because what is in your head,
Yeah,
what is the effective communication? Because you can say one thing, you can think one thing, but you can't, like, how do you, we are not in sync, me and you, although I'm in
right.
Iceland, and I can't know what you are. Oh, I am to build, oh yes, I will do it like this, and then you come and you just like, no, that's not how I thought about it.
Right. You know what? So of course, Rab, thank you for that question. That would be like the question. That's
Yes.
a good question. Um, the reason that's a good question is because I could give you so in that book of human business, it gives you my story, and there's the it's it's kind of if you read the book, it's implicit. Everything in there you need to know is in the book, but it's not really uh, explicit or like super duper clear. So I'm going to write another book called The Mind of a Human Business. And if I'm the leader of my human business and I'm in the brain, I would say I'm the mind of my human business. In my mind, the first part of this discussion was I had a crappy mindset, utilizing I had a conventional business mindset, and the trick is would be to convert people over to a new mindset. So the idea is instead of me looking at an employee as a resource to benefit me, the company owner, which Milton Friedman said that's the purpose of corporations is to benefit the shareholders. I need
Hmm.
to change my mindset. It's like I'm my employee is co-essential with me. I can't do this business with them. Just like if I was the heart of my company, I can't do my job without my lungs. What's the point of pumping blood without being co-essential to my lungs? I can't do this without the accounting people. I can't do this without the manufacturing people. I can barely show up to do a show with you without help.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm bestowing a job onto these people and they're so lucky to work for me. Honestly, my assistant who would have gotten me here on time, she just went home to have a baby. I think you corresponded with Susan. So
Yeah,
she's
well,
my assistant Susan's I've been left unsupervised because my assistant is at home with a
having a
newborn.
baby, or
She had a baby, like she seemed to think it was more important to expand the human race with a new baby than it was to come help me get me on your show on time. So it's
oh
really her
my,
fault. It's all her
yeah,
fault.
pay her $100 and then it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah,
Build her a crib. Build her a crib. But I just have to mention that when we met several months ago and we talked about you being a guest on Inspiring Conversations, then all of a sudden I found myself in a morning meeting at SnapCab.
oh, right. Yeah,
And I was blown away because you were just like, "Oh, can you follow?" And I think I spent like 1.5 hours or something with you, and
yeah,
I watched the process. So and your system somehow I connect with lean, the lean system or
yeah,
agile or
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But
Lean.
like when you and I, even though I was sitting here in Iceland, I was participating in
Yeah, you were.
everything. So yes, so give us like, what is it that you do in the mornings? Like you meet up
Okay, so
and
that
then
morning
like
meeting.
yeah,
Uh, so I've been to Japan multiple times, and we've taken back the best practices that we thought would fit with us. And one of them is this morning meeting. And in the morning meeting, uh, the first part of the meeting, we rotate. Every employee rotates leading the meeting. So every employee gets a chance to stand up and speak in front of people, which they didn't much care for that when we first started, but they've actually gotten to be, they've learned about how to
yeah,
speak publicly that way. Uh, and the first slide they do is a slide about themselves. So they talk for 2 or 3 minutes about a hobby, about themselves, or something they love doing, or they talk about their family or a vacation they went on. So it gives us a chance. It's kind of like show and tell at school. It gives us a chance to get to know them better. And then they do roll call, and then they lead a stretch, and uh, they get to select the music that they like for the stretch, and we all stretch. One person had us doing Zumba here one day, and um, and then they go through that, and then they say waste we found in the company. So they'll show us a before and after of, like, if I was going to do it, I'd say, oh, I was late for my podcast host, and the before is like, well, I was late for the host. The after is, well, now I've got a mistake proof system, so I'll never be late for a meeting again. So we'll see if that happens. But they would share something like that, and then they do this handoff to a manager, and then the manager does a standard thing. One's called a hankaten, which is a Japanese word that means change point. Change point. So if we're having a tour, we give tours here at SnapCab. So if we have a tour coming in, they'll say we have a tour coming in, or they're saying, oh, Glenn's not going to be available at in the middle of the day because he's doing a podcast. Some people are out on a delivery. So one machine's broken down. We got to do repairs on it. So you'll know all the things. It's like a news update of what's going on in the company. Then they go over the production, what we got done yesterday, what are we going to be doing today, and I think that's the morning meeting. It takes about
yeah.
15 minutes in total, and it kind of sets people up for the day. Do you know who's here? There's a roll call, um, and then
And,
and then after the morning meeting, there's one more little part to it, that the leadership team goes for a walk and goes to every Gemba board in the whole facility, and here's what's going wrong that day. And every day, whoever did the morning meeting, they go with them. So they go and see every department. And when you're in one department and you don't know what goes on in the rest of the company, now every day, one employee sees every department and here's what's going wrong, and here's how they're improving it. And the feedback I got from that practice is that employees that think, well, my problem is the most important problem, they get frustrated
yeah.
with their department when they realize, oh my gosh, there's a lot going on here, and they get to be more sympathetic that we're all trying to do something together here.
And they understand the wheel, like that
That's right.
everything. It's not like when one tooth of the wheel is broken, then like we have to
Yeah,
help each other to fix it because there is
that's right.
always some chain link in the chain that's off when something
That's right.
happens.
That's right.
But how is it when you implemented the morning meetings? You know, I just
Oh. I'll tell you what.
I just see your face, like coming in and saying, "Okay, guys, gather on," and people were,
We didn't.
"What?"
It didn't. It didn't start that way. Okay. All right. I'll tell you how we started a couple of things.
Yeah,
When we first started, all right. Well, I'll stick to the morning meeting because we're talking about that. Uh, we tried it. Well, it wasn't hard to do some sort of morning meeting. I mean, a lot of people do some sort of morning meeting,
yeah, yeah.
but we wanted the people to do these stretches, and people in North America are like, "No, what are you out of your mind? I'm not going to be sitting there stretching." And what we did, and I'd be happy to share these videos with you, by the way. I've been to Japan 4 times now. And the first few times I went, the people I took, we see all this stuff. And it's like, wow, this is amazing getting the engagement that they have with the workers there. And then you come back and you try to explain what it's like in Japan, and people are like, whatever, they don't get it. So,
Yeah.
when on one of those trips, one of the more recent trips, I went, and the host, Paul Akers, was so generous, and he allowed me to, I videotaped him for the entire trip. I put a mic on him. I videotaped it. We spent months editing those videos. So we have about 6 hours of a tour of going through Japan, and we took everybody in the company through those videos. We took, I think, maybe 2 hours a week for months. Well, not. I guess it took an hour a week for months. I feel like it took a long time. It took like 6 weeks. I guess that's right. It's about 6 hours, 6 weeks. Anyway, we went through the videos, and then we talked about the videos, and they actually saw us, their people in Japan, and seeing what they were seeing, and they realized, oh, well, that does make sense. And then after we did those Japan videos, we started doing these 2-second lean. It's called AME 2-second lean tours. And there's this group with Paul Akers, and AME is an association that's the Association of Manufacturing for Excellence. And if you go on YouTube and search Paul Akers 2-second lean, and what 2-second lean means, it's a book he wrote that means you want to reduce whatever you're doing. You want to save 2 seconds a day, like spend time to improve it. Like our improvement time is, the goal is to save 2 seconds, because every day, if you save 2 seconds, another day, if you do another little improvement, you'll save 2 seconds, and it builds up. And that's how you pay for doing the improvements, is by improving things. And now I lost my thread. But that's so we saw tours of other companies online, and we made a diet of training our people by looking at what other companies are doing.
Yeah.
And now they've been, you can do a tour of SnapCab. You go on to 2-second lean tours, put in SnapCab, AME 2-second lean tours, SnapCab, and then you can tour both of our places.
I thought that you were talking about the 2-second lean guy, because Paul Akers, he has been to Iceland and he had a keynote speak about.
Oh, has he?
Yes, so I was just like, I know that name.
Yeah,
I
I
have
know
two
him
books.
quite well. I've been to his place multiple times, and
I
we're
know,
friends.
I think I have 2 books written by him. So
Yeah.
that's funny. That's funny how the smaller the world is, isn't it? But because time flies when you're having fun,
Yeah, and
and
I don't know how long we
we
spoke, so I would
we,
probably.
we only have 10 minutes left. But what, like in the happiness at work, like when you go to the Chief Happiness Academy, becoming a Chief Happiness
Mhm.
Officer, we talk about what is the aim, what is the end goal, and we
Right.
talk about results and relationships are the thing to focus on, because if people are happy, content, or whatever, it's not the fruit basket that makes you happy at work, but
No.
it is like you are. I'm fascinated that you say that you celebrate failure, but when you talk to your colleagues, when you, as Rabasi asked, like, how do other leaders take this? And you say, well, yes, Bob, he lost me 300 millions, and I just smiled and said, okay, what can we learn from this?
Well,
That's a biggie. But
yeah,
how important, because we live in a culture of perfection.
yeah, that's a problem
Yes.
because
So how
who's
is it that
we're chasing the wrong thing is the problem. We're
yes,
we're chasing we're chasing we're chasing performance. We're chasing pleasure. We're chasing what do we want to get? Do we? If I got the amount of money I want and the fame that I want, if I got all the things I want, then I should be happy. You know,
yeah,
we live in a time when we have more, and everybody on the planet has more than kings and queens had, 100 years ago.
yeah,
And are we happy? I would say no, not very happy. Uh, when are you happy? Well, there's a condition to being happy, and if the conditions are met, then all of a sudden you're happy. And I don't think they're intuitive to people, but the conditions of being happy are: am I getting to use what I love to benefit another person, and can I see their happiness, and then I feel their happiness is my own happiness. Like, that's why people put up with having kids. Like, it's not fun getting up at 3 in the morning, but it is rewarding seeing your kids go out in
yes,
the world and do something useful,
yeah.
you know?
But how is it? I gather that productivity rose when you started to celebrate the
Oh,
mistakes
right, yes.
and the
Well, now
failures and whatnot. But when people started, when the newbies come, and like you say to them, or they do something wrong, failure or whatever,
mhm,
and the first response is,
right,
what will happen?
right,
So how when you guys talk to them about, okay, relax, it's okay to make mistakes,
right,
how do they, because we are programmed not to
right.
make
What
mistakes.
what, the when we first started doing it, the way we introduced it was by having the managers carrying gift gift cards in their back pocket, and when they saw somebody screwing something up, they just gave them a gift card, said, "Thank you, let's work on the solution now together." And that, like, pretty quickly changed the culture, like, "Oh, I'm not in trouble? I thought I was gonna lose my job, but instead I'm taking my family out for dinner."
Yeah,
Um, and to get a job here at SnapCab, if you went on our careers page, uh you'd have to watch about 20 minutes to learn about our culture first. And we're more interested about, do you have a love of building a community where you want to see your coworkers thrive? And are you interested in these values of being kind, being authentic, being useful? And the people that come on board say, I don't care what job, not, they don't all say this, but they do say, your values are my values. That's why I want to work here. So I it's hard to change people. So I'm not saying this is an easy thing to do, because if you have a culture that's been around for
yeah,
decades, you're going to find out that you're going to have to put in a new, like, vision for the company, a new intention for the company to do this, and then you as the leader have to embrace the ideas that are in that book and that we're talking about here, and then and don't tolerate. One thing we don't tolerate is if one coworker is making another coworker's life miserable. So it's like, I don't want to go to work because a bunch of jerks at work. That's what I don't tolerate,
uh, uh,
because
yeah,
when you have
bullying.
happy people at work, bullying,
uh,
exactly. So if you have a place where people feel like, oh, my friends are at work and they're supportive of me, and I get to do what I love, now you have a thriving workplace. You're not driving people to work. They're anxious to go do the things that they love to do. And it's a long-term strategy. It doesn't happen today or
well,
this year, but you can start on it today.
uh, I can concur, because after our chat I was ready to move to Toronto or wherever you are. I was just ready to
Kingston,
fly out. What? Where?
Kingston, Ontario.
Yes, or that. Like, I was ready to take the plane and just knock on your door and say, "Hey, Glenn, I'm here. What should I do? Like, what do you want me to do?" Because I was so impressed because this was like fun and people got to speak and like, it was just fun.
Well, you're
Not
well,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
You can
I'm
apply.
not
You can
going to.
apply online.
Yeah, I'm not
And I
going to
want to hear
show.
about
So
this happiness conference you've got. What is that?
yes, we will talk about that after this session because
Okay.
I need to talk to you. But because we are closing in on the hour, Rab, he asked you because everybody and their grandmother is talking about AI. So how do you think AI will play the leadership role? What
Uh,
is the key skill that is not AI able? How can you work with change but keep it human?
well, yeah, I know I
It's a
look
big
really
question.
smart, but I'm not that smart. I'll tell
Well,
you what. I'm using
yeah,
AI now, and I think if there's something good that you can do with AI, I think you better get cracking and use AI to do good things because
yeah,
it's like a rocket ship. I can't believe the stuff that would take me months before we're getting done very quickly now with planning and being able to getting an idea and getting into action goes much quicker by getting help from AI. Now
yeah,
I know there's a bright side and a dark side to AI, and I would just put the energy into the bright side of AI, and you can't help we all know that there's risks that come with AI, right?
yeah.
Uh, but while it's here, hey, while we have all these services and we're all functioning, let's use it for good. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, we have to embrace technology because I know
Oh
that,
no, absolutely.
and I have said it multiple times because my father and mother they were born in 1925 and 1929, and like what they went through, all the changes they
Right.
went through, and then when I have my kids are 25, and the speed of innovation
Oh
from
my gosh.
2001 to today, like I me and my wife, and we are born in 1967, we just were like, snap a what, and what, 10 seconds phone calls, no, what are you doing, why what,
Right.
like why don't you just call them like we did back in the
Right.
days, like with the dial and
Right.
everything,
Yeah.
and they were just looking at us like, what, no, why?
Right.
And I was like,
Right. I thought it
yeah,
was amazing when we got fax machines.
yeah.
Um,
It's just like, yeah, it's brilliant. But we have to embrace it because, but
yeah.
as long as we humans don't lose,
I think the key is, and this is the part, if I was going to say something about it, is what's your definition of success? Because the definition of success that I heard from a bunch of these AI people is like, well, maybe you could opt out of work altogether. And I don't my definition of success is that I get to have a meaningful life. And if
yeah,
I can use AI to help me to have a meaningful life to help other people, then I would say that's a success. If you're going to use AI to eliminate a bunch of people from being useful, and I think if you're in Iceland, I'm not sure what's going on there, but I know you guys are close to Greenland. And I went up through a tour through the Arctic and met these Inuit people. And, us people that are colored that look something like me went up there and changed these people's culture and took away their useful lives of
mm,
fishing and doing all the stuff they do up north and said, well, here, you don't have to do anything at all. We'll give you money. We'll give you a grocery store. And they took away their meaning for life. That I don't think that was doing them a favor.
oh,
So,
and
so I,
they also became alcoholics because they didn't
that's
know
right.
what to do with their time, and
That's
all
right.
of a sudden they took the livelihood. They were like there is
Yeah,
so much wrong things about the story of Greenland,
that's right. And
but
I wouldn't want to repeat that story globally using
no,
AI.
yeah. But Rabasi says AI is brilliant, but human intelligence bring emotional intelligence. And his follow-up question is, because he probably stopped in his thought, do you think human intelligence plus emotional intelligence connects people and AI just saves you time reading?
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. Like I Sadly, I can have a pretty decent conversation with Claude, but I prefer
Yeah,
talking to you. But I do think that there's something about human. Um, there's something about human inspiration that AI will never have, and it's not about who's smartest. Otherwise, I don't.
it is like when I people ask me why are you doing this, and I have now I think I'm up to 80 sessions or whatever, like once a week, and it's just I meet some fantastic people, and they are just through a hardship, through stuff that is unbelievable, or like the veteran who was like he probably should have died the first time, but he died four times and he's still alive, and he
Oh
is
my
like
gosh.
over 70. Like it's just you
Well,
know there must be some reason why he is
how
still alive.
how many people do you know that were so if AI is to help free us from problems, how many people have had a really rich life free of problems,
Nobody
right?
said nobody ever like there are just things, but in because we have to round up. And
Okay.
I truly like just meeting you several months ago and following, like looking at your stuff and everything. It's just, I think people should just get this book, and you are funny. Well, I haven't stopped laughing, so that must be something. But I'm easy. I'm easy to
Yeah,
laugh.
you're
You just fart and I laugh. Not that you did, but you came late. No, no, not that in that sense either. Um, now I'm rambling, but we have to go through some stuff before we finish off. So your website is glennbostock.com,
yeah,
and there people can order your book through Amazon or whatever. And I urge people to do that because it sounds just fantastic. Although you are going to hell for it, I just
yeah,
and I will probably meet you there, but like
yeah,
that's
somebody's gotta
that's
be there.
okay. We will meet good people in hell.
Yeah,
We will have a community there,
yeah,
and
that's right.
people can contact you, or they can get to you via also your LinkedIn page if they
Yeah,
want.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
then there is the snapcab.com, isn't it?
Yeah, snapcab.com.
That is your company, and I just because you mentioned it, then and you would be your company would be awesome to have with us in this because we are several chief happiness officers, and there were two ladies in the Netherlands who decided in 2018 that we needed a international week of happiness at work, and that week will be in last week of September this year, from September 21st to September 25th. I can send it to you, and
Yeah,
whatever you like. There is a web page and everything,
right.
and you can do whatever. It's nothing. Nobody owns it. Like it's not like, oh, you have to do this and that. And it's just you are doing some awesome things, Glenn. And I think that I would really love that people would see what you're doing, what your company's doing, the morning meetings, the happiness, like the smiles on people's faces. I think maybe, well, I pointed out a mistake, I think, that morning when we met because there was something wrong with the date or something. And
Oh,
you said, oh, congratulations, you found a mistake. You have earned a ticket. And I was just like, woo! And
yeah,
I was like almost embarrassed to say like, oh, tomorrow is Thursday, not Wednesday, or like what
right.
I can't remember what it was, but
Oh my gosh.
and we can talk about that later on. This has been a fantastic chat because I knew that like it's like winning in a lotto. It's just like you are a big prize. You have so much knowledge and you care for people and you are just an inspiration. And
Oh,
that is for me it's just like excellent. And oh, and of course Rab says like because I'm doing this inspiring conversations, and he says they meet me.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah,
And
and I would like to do that as well.
yeah, and I try to bring the people like you to all everybody around. But it has been awesome. But I have to talk about the next week's show, because the next show will be next Thursday, July 2nd. It's almost Christmas. What is happening in the world? Why time flies when you're having fun? But when you were younger, time was not definitely not flying.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But my guest then will be Bianca Riemer, and our topic is calm under pressure, leading when everyone is watching. So that will be interesting, and that same time, same channel, and whatnot. And as always, people watching, be curious, be interested, be inspired, and the newest one from Audley in Canada, be audacious, because then you have something, because you only have one life.
Yeah,
So, Glenn, you are fantastic. Are you still married to your lovely wife?
I'm still married. Yeah, for 40. I think it's 40, 43, 43 years.
Well, so you
Yeah.
must have done something, right?
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't.
it's not
I didn't
it's
get
not all
kicked out.
failure, Glenn.
I
It's not
didn't get
all
kicked
failure.
out.
But thank you from the bottom of my heart, Glenn.
All right. Thank you.